to it.
It's funny because I've just read a book on Margaret Mitchell.
Oh, oh yes.
Yes, a
I
very
haven't read that
interesting
book
very
yet, but
good
I
book.
want to.
Interesting, but may not be true because, you know, people
Yeah.
who die, they always seem to write things that may not.
Yes. Are we rolling? All right. Well, Mr. Gilbert, we have never met before, but I
No,
certainly know you through your work.
Thank you.
And I have to tell you right off the bat that I'm very excited about the movie, Educating Rita. You know, it's all right, the action pictures, it's fine, and hardware flying through the air and everything, but it's so wonderful to see a good story and acted so beautifully by people such as Michael Caine and Julie Walters. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Michael, I asked him this question, and so I'll ask you the same question. There are people already saying it's the best thing since Alfie and Sleuth, and maybe the best thing ever. And how do you feel about it? You directed him in Alfie.
Well, you know, that's a long time ago, and he's made many, many films since then. But of course, people do remember him in Alfie, which is great. How do I feel about it? Well, you know, it was wonderful working with him again after all this time. It was kind of strange, really, to be, what was it, 15, 16 years ago. It was strange to suddenly see him walk on the set again and start up all over again. And what was really interesting was, of course, that after the first day he came up to me and he said, "My God," he said, "I've really got to work." He says, "This girl's fantastic. She's going to act me right off the screen." He said, "I really got to work on this one." I said, "Yes, I'm afraid you've got to work on this one." And so it was really great, actually. I enjoyed it. It was great fun.
Has he changed much as an actor?
No, and he hasn't changed. He's always been a good actor. I mean, I remember him even before Alfie. He's always been a good actor. I think he's more mature now, and I think he was very brave to do what he did, which was to put on all that weight for the film. I mean, now you've seen him, he's taken it all off again. But in the film, he looks, which he's supposed to in the film, a slob, an alcoholic. And he was wonderful because you know, most actors are very nervous about playing things like that. They want their hair combed and the clothes fitting, and he was fat, and I thought he was, you know, he's a wonderful man to work with, really, because he's a real pro, and that is something marvellous for a director to have two real pros in the film. It was really great.
In this country, we do not know Educating Rita, the play. I guess
No.
It's never played here, has it?
No, which is interesting because the play has been translated into 30 or 40 languages. It's played all over the world in places as diverse as Turkey, Israel, Holland, Germany. It's at the moment been running a year in Paris, very funny, wonderful company in Paris. And it never really played here, and there was some problem with the rights in the original days, and I don't quite know what happened to it after that. But I think it will play here, I'm sure it will, but I hope not before the film comes out.
Julie Walters, of course, created the role in London.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, would you have done the movie if they wouldn't have allowed her to do it?
Well, they didn't want her to do it because she was somebody totally unknown. When I first saw the play, I thought she was absolutely incredible in the play, and I went round to see her. I said, "Listen, I'm going to make this film. I want to make this film, and I'm not going to do it with anybody else but you." Well, I mean, you know, that was a rather a tall order, because when I came to America, and I've worked for every major American company, so I can usually pick up the phone and talk to them. None of them wanted to do the film because they wanted me to use somebody like Dolly Parton or Goldie Hawn, and I said, "But that just is not going to work in the film." And they said, "Well, that's what we would like." And I said, "Well, no, I want this girl, Julie Walters, you know." And to them, it was some kind of soft drink or something. They didn't, you know, they didn't know her. They didn't want to know her. The interesting thing was that when we made the film, and we came back here, and we didn't have any. We made it entirely with private money, almost on spec. I'd never made a film like that before. And we brought it back here and showed it to these same American companies, and every single company wanted to buy it. So it was really extraordinary in that way. It was a wonderful moment for me, really, of course, you know. So it was.
Have you changed the story much at all from the play?
Well, we've made it into a film, which is a change, because the play was just a two-hander. There was only two people in it. So, of course, now it's nothing like that, of course, and we see his family and her family and what happens to her and all her friends and what to her sister and so on. And it's been completely rewritten as a film, but Willie Russell, who wrote the play, said that, of course, if he'd had the size that you get in a film, he would have done all that in the play. But of course he couldn't, because I mean it was commissioned by the Royal Shakespeare Company just to fill in for about 3 weeks. And as it turned out, it was the most successful play they ever did, including Nicholas Nickleby and everything, you know. I mean, and it's played almost all over the world in every kind of language. So that small little play, it's remarkable. And Julie, of course, originated it. She was in this 3 weeks. And even then she said that when she did that 3 weeks, she had no idea that it would go on any more than 3 weeks. And she said it went on, you know, she was in, the play ran for 2 years.
And she was in it that long?
She was in it for over a year, and then she left to do other things. And of course, when she knew the film was going to be made, she never thought she'd get the film, you know, because most stage actresses don't get the film, you know. So it was wonderful, really.
In your country, in England, is the average age something, they say in this country it's like 12 to 29 or something.
Yeah,
is it the same in England?
Well, it is, but then I think everybody underestimates that age group. I mean, I have a 12-year-old granddaughter, and she absolutely loves this film. And, you know, it's a mistake to think that young people are only interested in laser beams and things. I mean, they're interested in many things. It's just it's how it's presented. I mean, this film is not a message film. It was a very, very funny play. It has many laughs in it, and it's told through the medium of laughter, which is a very powerful way of telling a story, really. And so I don't see that teenagers and people wouldn't like the film, because we've shown it. And of course the film is a very big success in England, where many, many teenagers go to see the film. But it's about people, and that's what's important. I mean, I think today, as you said at the beginning, I think people want to see films about people that they recognise. I mean, this may be a film made in England, but the characters are universal, really. I mean, they could just be in any country.
Was there any special reason that you did it in Ireland? I loved the setting, I must say, but was there any special reason?
Yes, there was. The play was set in Liverpool, and Liverpool University they don't have a campus. It's a very scattered university, with a building in here in the middle of the city, and another building here, and another building way over on another side of the city. And we wanted to make it a classical university, where a girl totally uneducated walks in, she'd be totally overwhelmed by this sight. I mean, she was totally overwhelmed by seeing students and people, you know. I mean, she couldn't imagine what their lives were like. So it had to be that kind of a university. Well, there are not that many universities in England. There are the older universities like Oxford and Cambridge, but we couldn't get in there for sort of 9, well, you might be able to get in for a day, but they weren't going to have us hanging around for sort of 8 or 9 weeks. But in Ireland they were very, very cooperative, and they gave us Trinity College, which is a beautiful old university, and that's where we were for 11 weeks, and it was great fun working in there, you know, because the Irish are a fantastic race. I mean, I never realised it, because they are so different in Ireland, you know, but they're really lovely people. They were fantastic. So a lot of the actors were from the Irish Abbey Theatre, and they were some marvellous people, you know.
Well, it gives a very special feeling and style and flavour
yes,
to
it was different. It
to
was
the
something
film.
Different, yes.
Well, again, Mr. Lewis, congratulations on a wonderful film. I hope it's a big hit for you, and I'll do the best I can to get the word around.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you.
Okay. And sound, please. Many people are saying this is the best thing Michael Caine has done since Sleuth and Alfie. You directed him in Alfie. What do you think? Has Michael Caine changed through the years? Again. Has Michael Caine changed through the years? Was it difficult to get a studio interested in this movie because it isn't an action movie, no car crashes? It was a play, but we don't know it in this country as a play, do we? Has the story changed very much from the way it was on stage? Would you have done it with any other actress? In England, is the average moviegoer in that 12 to 29 age group? Is there any special reason you shot it in Ireland? Okay, that should do it.